77 Live by Les Rallizes Dénudés, which is a Japanese noise rock, progressive rock band that went from 1967 to their last show in 1998, but their main run was really 1967 to the late 70s. The general gist with this band, they only ever played live shows. There was pretty much one main dude the whole time, and the rest of the band it was a bunch of different people. They never had an official studio recording release. They tried to, but it didn't work out. So for a long time, they were this cult band where people mainly heard of them through bootlegs and stuff from their different live shows. I think eventually they sort of got overseas somehow through bootleg circles. And nowadays, I think the main reason why this band has come back in some ways and that you have represses of their vinyl and shit is because of the internet and because of stuff like RYM Album of the Year. People love niche cult Japanese stuff, and 77 Live is their most popular release and live show. Easily, I think a lot of people say it's their best, but it's definitely their most popular. It was a live show at some student hall somewhere in Japan, and it's important to note, I don't know if the noisiness of this music is intentional or if it's because of how they recorded all their live shows. They recorded all their live shows through one tape and one microphone, so they have all this different shit and it's all being fed into a single tape, so it sounds noisy and it sounds really harsh, and there's also a ton of fucking reverb on everything. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Probably, because that makes their entire sound, essentially. Because of how it was recorded, if this album was very clean production-wise and mixing and all that shit, you would hear just these long, very repetitive and very hypnotic progressive songs with very deep and sort of mysterious vocals, okay? The main singer, I think he liked France a lot. That's what I read, that he liked a lot of French poetry and shit. He's trying to be mysterious and stuff on the vocals. It's sort of interesting, but I don't think it's very important in terms of lyrics. But his vocals are nice, and especially with the way it was recorded, it allows for very harsh moments where he's really straining and going for it, which I really enjoy. But yeah, this album is noisy as fuck. Pretty much you get all this stuff, throw on a bit of noise on top of that. Every single time something gets a bit loud, you're also going to have a fuck ton of feedback, and the noise is going to get really intense on everything. Vocals, bass, guitar, whatever. It adds this interesting layer on top of what's already sort of an interesting hypnotic instrumental, and you got something sort of special. However though, this is not for everybody. This album, it's 7 songs, which might not seem like a lot, but the shortest one is 8 minutes, and the whole album's an hour and 30. So the noise can get, I could see for some people, a bit unbearable because it's repetitive, it's heavy, it's noisy, and it's like that the entire hour and 30. I think the only time you could say there's a break from it is the song Maybe Memory is Far Away. That's a much slower one, but at the same time, it is still repetitive. Or Reapers of the Night, which is more of a fast pace, and I guess the funnest song on this album. I'd say if there's one song you're going to listen to from this album, check out Reapers of the Night. It has pretty much everything this album has, but it's a bit shorter and it's a bit more fun. Now, I'm saying all this, but none of this means I don't like it. Personally, I love really noisy, lo-fi recordings of stuff, and this sort of fits the bill. Did I love it on the first listen? No. I'll be real, I didn't. But after a few listens, I was like, wait, hold up. They might be cooking. There might be something going on here. This album is so heavy and it's so noisy, but none of these songs themselves sound similar, I'd say. It all has this one very distinct sound, but I think the songs are pretty clearly apart from each other while maintaining the whole atmosphere and general idea of the album. My only real complaint is I think the final track, the last one, which is 20 minutes, does not need to be 20 minutes, okay? This album's already long. The last song could have been 12, and I think this album would low-key be perfect, because at least for me, by that final song, I was like, okay, I've had enough. We can wrap it up now. But at the same time, I could see somebody saying they like how long the last song is because it just pushes it even further. But the last 3 to 4 minutes of the last song is straight up just actual noise and feedback, which I think fits as an outro, but it doesn't need to be that long. My favorite songs on 77 Live are The Night, Assassin's Night, Enter the Mirror, the intro is great. Memory is Far Away is probably my favorite. I love the vocals on that. I think Memory is Far Away highlights one of my favorite things that is on a lot of the songs on this album. These hypnotic, slow vocals with just the repetitive guitar. It kind of lulls you into this sense of just the same shit, and then they slowly start to pick it up, and then they ramp up a lot. And as they ramp up with the instrumentals and the vocals, the shitty recording also does that, and the noise just pierces through. And I think those moments are really cool and really enjoyable. And I also like Reapers of the Night. But I think the best way to describe what listening to this sounds like is like this, okay? So imagine like you put your phone or something down, like in your room, and then you're about to go to bed and you turn the lights off, okay? You just saw everything, the lights were on, and you turned it off, and there's like that like half a second to 2 seconds where you low-key can't see shit. Like, you know where the thing you just placed is, and you're reaching for it, but you can't see anything because you just turned the lights off. That's sort of what this album is like, but for an hour and a half, because all the instrumentals in the rhythm and all that shit, it's there. Under the noise, you can hear it. You know you can hear it. There's moments where it's pretty clear, and then it gets covered up again, and you're like, okay, I know it's there. But at the same time, you're sort of reaching around, like, trying to find it. The vocals are pretty clear most of the time, though. I'm going to give 77 Live by Les Rallizes Dénudés like a 9, like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. It's in that range. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about 77 Live in the comments below. Let me know any other albums I should review. The next review is going to be Rainbow Bridge 2 or 3, whatever, you know, the famous Cemetery album. That's the next one. There's a Discord below, music community, if you're interested. There's a link tree with all my stuff if you care about that. And thank you to the patrons for supporting the channel. It's one tier, $1. Do not feel like you have to at all, but thank you to the patrons: Swermay, Poppy John, Dirt Eater 55, May, and Will Ackers. Thank you all for supporting me. Do not feel like you have to, but thank you guys for supporting me. You all have been for a long time now, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day wherever you are, and goodbye.